We are again with part 3 out of 4. Today we're talking about the Dirty Martini. So I do have 2 other videos out already right now where I talk about the margarita palette and I talk about the wine palette. This week I worked on the Dirty Martini. So once again, here is what it comes in. It comes in this bottle. If you haven't seen my other videos, there's a plastic that comes on this. You unwrap it, you open this up, palette is inside. Mine came broken, so I had to glue back pieces that had broken. You can see that. This is kind of I don't want to necessarily say a cheap plastic, but if you threw this on the floor and you have like tile floor or something, wooden floor, it would break. It would go into a million little pieces. But this is what it comes in. It did end up broken, but it doesn't really matter because it's just for show. It's just something fun that comes with the palette. What we actually have, so this is the palette that I worked on this week. Visually, very pretty, same size, same kind of idea as the other palettes. This is an all green palette. When I initially saw this palette, I thought that it looked very much like the Blood Money from Jeffree Star palette. So let's open this up. I got my sheet in there. So this is Dirty Martini. Essentially what I did for the week was every column was a day, so I would use 3 colors in every look. Pretty simple, very simple eye looks, like a, you know, either I would put this on kind of the arch of my eye, inner eye, outer eye, or I would do like inner eye, middle eye, outer eye. Just very simple looks like that. I wasn't really doing anything fancy. Alright, I used every column, every color in this palette. I'll insert some footage here where I believe I'm using this column, and we'll see how that goes. Hello, we're going to do a live eye look. So far I have tried these 2 rows. This row did not work out very well, but this one did. So right now we're 50-50. The easiest way I'm trying these out every day this week is I just go down the row and I put the entire look on my eye. So today we're going to be doing these 3 colors right here. Very simple. It's going to go on my eye. We're going to do a live reaction, live swatch on my eye, see if these work better. There's a 50-50 chance so far. It's already doing it again. Do you see how it... You're seeing this, right? Like it... That's my issue with this product. It does this. I mean, oh god. As long as it doesn't do that on my eye, I really don't care. But it tends to actually do that on my eye. Almost nothing on my brush. Alright, so I've applied just a splash. Not awful, but super crumbly in the pan. Which, like I said, it's not too awful. If I can at least not get it to do that on my face, that's fine. So we're going to go into the next color. Vodka-tini. That middle shade right there. Vodka-tini. Already feels like a completely different formula. Let's see, this one. A lot smoother. Which means it might be more difficult to put on the eye, but we'll see. Ooh. This is what I'm expecting on this brush. This kind of stay power on the brush. Ah! Beautiful. Yes. That is what I expect. That is what I've been expecting. That's what I've been hoping for this entire time. Just a splash, not good. Look at that. Wow! This is an eyeshadow. That is how it should apply. Vodka-tini? Approved. Approved. Good color. Just a splash? Weird. Now we're going with the last color. Extra dirty. It's a matte. We're just going to use that to darken the corners. So once again, it's kind of a 50-50. I think Just a Splash could have worked better. On the eye, it's alright on the eye. The color that actually worked how I expect these colors to work was the Vodkatini. Vodkatini worked beautifully, so we still got 2 more days. But so far it's a 50-50 mix. These mattes work very well, but like I've mentioned in a lot of videos, I am a shimmer gal. These shimmers aren't working for me. Why keep this palette? So you can see from the footage that I was having a couple of issues. I started from what I thought would be my least favorite colors to my most favorite colors. I'm not very into what I think a lot of Generation Z has been very famously calling grungy colors. Just kind of these more olive, army green colors. The worst color in here for me was High Class. I think High Class performed the worst. I think you can tell in video that it almost looks like a putty. And this color performed like the worst Jeffree Star colors I've used personally. So I didn't like this one. This one was probably the worst one I used. This one was a bit difficult to work with, but you know, I was able to work with it and it wasn't too awful. This one worked more as a topper. There's some there, but I was expecting, you know, more bang for my buck. This one performed the way I think, if I recall correctly, what I think shimmer eyeshadows should work as. This one here, I feel like that one worked very well. Overall, I think I had mostly trouble with just these 2 rows, and it's nothing to do with the mattes. The mattes in here worked a lot better. I think I also was able to blend colors a lot in terms of mattes. I was able to blend the mattes a lot better in this palette versus in the last 2 that I've used. I think the 2 rows, well, these 2 rows are probably the best in this palette. I personally really love these kind of teal, kind of mint colors. Those are my favorite. I think those are beautiful. I was watching some other reviews. Some of the complaints from this palette was that they didn't like these 2 rows, that there was too much blue-green, and that they didn't like that. I personally loved it. I think these 2 columns really saved this palette. I really think it goes from, for me, like worst to best. So I'm kind of stuck on this palette. I think it worked pretty well. Kind of had the same issues where it creased way too easy, way too fast. I really would have liked it to last a little bit better. It's really, you know, I think I did some pretty decent looks with this palette, but I gotta say that Glamlite has really taken the fun out of makeup for me. I'm still kind of struggling to use their formula. So after this palette, I'm going to take a break and use 2 other palettes to kind of regain my love and fun of using these palettes, because I really struggled with the shimmers, and it's such a letdown when these palettes are so expensive. $35 for this, and not to even have it perform the way it should. I have huge Beauty Bay palettes that have way more colors and work so much better at a cheaper price. You know what I mean? Like for $35, I might as well invest a couple like $10 more and get like a Jeffree Star palette, which I do have. Is this better than the Jeffree Star palette? Absolutely not. If I had to pick between this and the Jeffree Star Blood Money palette, I would declutter this. I wouldn't keep this. I would keep my Blood Money, because at least I can count on my Blood Money palette to do what I need it to do. Picked some of my favorite colors that I used this week just to show you how pretty. We got from left to right, we have Olive Lover, Vodkatini, On the Rocks, and Gin. So those last 2 on the right, On the Rocks and Gin, I really love these 2. We have like a mint color with silver sparkles, and then a very beautiful kind of like teal color. I feel like these teal sparkles are shades I don't really have in my collection. So the left side of this palette is really beautiful. I feel like the right side of this palette, you could probably substitute it and find it elsewhere. I don't really think it's necessary to, you know, when you're looking at these. I'm sure you have a palette that has similar colors, but for these 2 rows, I think that those are quite unique and very nice. This palette is definitely a lot more travel friendly But I can, so far, I mean, we'll see with the last one. We have one more palette to go. We have the Chocolate Martini palette, which is an all-neutral brown palette. But so far, I mean, I think this one is the best of the three that I have tried so far. There are definitely more colors in this palette that actually worked, but I feel like I need to give myself more space and time and then come back to this palette and see how I really feel about it, because I feel like I've been pretty much let down by the other two palettes, and I don't want my bias of what I now feel for Glamlite to kind of cloud how beautiful this palette is, because it really does have great colors. If these colors actually worked, this would have been such a great palette. In terms of recommendation, I think if you want to try it out, definitely try it out if you're a lover of greens. But like I've been saying, try and get this on sale. I think it is on sale right now, but I wouldn't buy this full price. This is maybe a $20 palette that they're selling for like $35, and I just don't think that's really fair. Definitely not worth the price. If you can get it on sale, get it on sale. If you can invest more money in a fully green makeup palette, I'd say skip this and get Jeffree Star's Blood Money palette. If you don't want to use a Jeffree Star palette, then I say skip the Jeffree Star palette and buy yourself the green palette from Beauty Bay. That has way more colors, and if you don't mind a huge palette like that, that may be not as travel friendly, then you might actually enjoy that Beauty Bay palette. But I feel like this isn't conclusive. I want to come back to this palette and see how I really feel about it, and maybe not, you know, force myself to be like, okay, I'm gonna use these three, okay, and I'm gonna use those three, and then I'm gonna use these three. Like, it kind of felt very confined, but I wanted to make sure that I used every color in these palettes to see how they performed. And now that I have used it, I kind of want to let myself use it the way I would want to use it, and not, you know, not worry about what colors should go where, or just using them to use them. Like, sometimes I'd use the colors in here and it wouldn't even match my outfit for the day. But as of right now, I might give it a 4 out of 5 as well. Definitely, obviously, I guess you have maybe 3 looks in this palette. You have a teal look, a more, as they would say, grungy green, kind of olive color in this palette, and then you would have just more of a bright green look with this. I think you could probably get at least 3 varying looks on this, but it's alright. I want to give myself a break from Glamlite and kind of be interested back into my makeup again and be excited, but we'll see where that 4th palette lands us and how we end up feeling about everything. Is the green palette your favorite palette? Please let me know down below what your favorite of the 4 have been. I still got one more to go, but we'll see how that ends. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.